First order of business would be to reorganize. And anybody, anybody up for it? I would say chairman if nobody else wants it.
I'll nominate Ed Forsberg. All in favor? Aye.
I'll abstain. So, okay, so
Actually, so we're gonna do it by roll
Oh,
call,
roll
because
call.
these folks
Okay,
are
okay.
on, these folks are on Zoom.
I see
so
Justin with the thumbs up over there.
Not sure that flies, so.
Can you hear us, Justin and Leah?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we'll do a roll call. Those in favor, David?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Larry? Justin?
Aye.
Leah?
Aye.
And I will abstain. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
5-0-0.
And how about secretary? Do we have any volunteers? Since Cheryl isn't here. She did such a great job last year.
Works for me.
Anybody?
Yeah, we can do that. That's no
Okay.
problem at all.
All right, and give us a little time to talk her into it, maybe.
Okay.
All right, so, and that's all. Should we have a vice chair just in case I'm not here, or would the secretary do that, take care of that?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Sure.
What's that?
Yeah, we'll do a vice chair.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so we're all organized. Probably we should introduce ourselves, a few new members, so, David, if you wanted to start?
Yeah, Dave Thornton.
Michael Cialala.
Ed Forsberg,
Larry Pittman, I'm the FinCom representative.
thank you.
Patrick Shield, I'm the Assistant Town Administrator.
Justin?
Hey, I'm Justin Hayner.
Thank you. And Leah?
And I'm Leah McWell.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, first on the agenda is be an update from the town administrator or assistant town administrator. Patrick, if you,
Sure. So I just want to kind of walk everyone through the packets. I think everyone's got a packet, and Justin and Leah, if you don't have the physical packet in front of you, I sent everybody the same packet last week, which had it all kind of broken down with, easy to navigate links. So basically, what you have in front of you is the capital budget as recommended by the town administrator. A few tabs to kind of point out. One is the capital summary, so you'll see there all of the department requests and what the town administrator is recommending, and from each of the funding sources, you'll see that it's broken out by capital infrastructure improvements, capital equipment purchases, street and drainage improvements, and then two articles, one for water, one for sewer. In the columns overhead, like I mentioned, you'll see the department cost request, the funding source, the town administrator recommendation. And over the course of the next 2 weeks, you'll be meeting with each of the departments that submitted capital budget requests. And you'll begin, to formulate your own recommendations, looking to try to finish up the capital budget cycle by next Wednesday to get in front of the finance committee in time for the fall town meeting. So a few of you were here before the meeting started. I mentioned that the select board is closing the warrant tonight, so it really kind of kicks off the fall town meeting process, and the finance committee is starting to meet beginning this upcoming Monday. So I think the date that the capital budget committee is scheduled to go in front of the finance committee is Monday, September 11th. So just make sure that all the notification pieces for letting the residents know and town meeting know, we need to have all that work completed and given to the finance committee before then. So really that's kind of it for the capital summary. You also see the 5-year plan. So as departments submit their capital budget requests, we ask them to take a look at the next 5 years also. What's big coming down the pike? What are you looking at in terms of improvements for your departments? And then really, the rest of it's kind of is split up by the individual departments. So Board of Assessors, Council on Aging, and then the way the schedule works, we've got it pretty much split up by department type, like service type. So tonight we've got public safety, tomorrow we've got the general government departments, Next week, we've got DPW and then the school department, and we tie the building maintenance department in with the school department because a lot of their requests come up, in a building capacity with the schools. So that's pretty much the capital budget process in a nutshell. Before we turn things over to the public safety departments, are there any questions about the process?
Okay, well, Patrick, I was just going to explain a little bit. So I was just going to say about the five-year plan, it's a best list of what each department needs in the coming years, but many times stuff will come up as an emergency that they would need, that they need something right away, or sometimes years, they'll swap years out to prioritize something that needs to be replaced right away. And just for the newer members, I wanted to say that what we'll do is we'll go through the whole book and interview all of the department heads with each one of the requests. And then, on the deliberations, which would be a week from tomorrow night, we would discuss everything and take our votes then. And a long time ago, we were like taking votes almost right away, but then you get stuck at the end because, everything seems to be a priority when you come in here and you hear the departments, asking for items. But then at the end, there's like not much left, so we try to listen to everybody, prioritize it, and then take the votes. And sometimes we can swap things around, sometimes things drop off, and we can add some other things that weren't funded. So we'll just take our notes through all of the meetings, and then, we'll take our votes in the deliberation next Wednesday on the 30th, so.
Great. So if there are no other questions, I'll introduce Fire Chief Paul Berry, who was just sworn in as Fire Chief back at the end of June after Chief Bailey left for another position. Chief?
Good evening.
Oh. So, want to go right down your list, or?
Absolutely. Any questions? So my first request is a new command car, be an addition to the fleet. We're creating a new position, and this would be like I said, a new addition to the fleet. We priced out a little while ago. If we were able to purchase right at the time, that's what the price that I was able to give you, and they guesstimate 10% increase from the time we're actually approved to make the purchase. We got a price for emergency lighting on the equipment, about $10,000, and the remaining money would be used for equipment that we usually pass down to vehicles, from vehicle to vehicle. So as I said, this would be an addition to the fleet, so it would have no equipment in it that would be able to pass down from another piece of apparatus.
So, excuse me on that, I see the request was originally for $65,000, but it had bumped up to $70,000.
Correct. So I'm asking for $70,000 total. Again, that was for the equipment. That was
Okay,
hindsight, not having that equipment to pass on from vehicle to vehicle, the equipment that's needed.
okay. All right, any questions on the command car? Larry?
What's the new position?
So, new command structure would be, creating an assistant chief would be second in command, and then 2 deputy chiefs would be, followed in third command. And we have one deputy approved for a partial year funding, and we're transferring a role from a fire prevention lieutenant to a fire prevention, essentially deputy, so.
What's that, Larry? Good? Okay,
The next request would be for radios, both mobile and portable radios. The mobile radios are what's in the apparatus, and typically we do pass that on from equipment, so 2 of those radios would be going into the new command car, and one of the mobile radios would be going into one of the new engines that's coming.
okay, so these would be radios that are fixed into the vehicle itself, that's not handheld
Correct.
personal?
They go from apparatus, they're ID to the vehicle, and would use those to communicate with Walpole Fire and other communities that we respond to as well.
So would these be for the new fire engines, or?
One would be for the new fire engine, because we are, I'll explain deeper down, but we're not getting rid of one of the engines that we had previously planned on getting rid of. And I'd also be looking for 4 portable radios for the new command positions as well. Command officers carry 2 portables. One's tied to Walpole Fire at all time, and the other one would be tied to mutual aid if we're on scene taking command of an incident. Any questions on the radios?
So how many total on
So
the
a
portable?
total of 7 radios as well.
7 portable radios?
Is what we got quoted for, and that number included a 10% increase from our vendor as well, guesstimate.
Yeah, when I was reviewing the, your request out here, it's hard to figure out how many radios.
There was an add-on because, again, because we got the quote, and then the additional engine that we decided to keep,
Okay.
that added the 3rd mobile radio.
Oh, yeah, I saw the pencil on the
The
add-on
pencil,
there at
exactly.
the end, okay,
And if
right.
you go down and look at the quantities on the,
Yeah.
on the quotes,
So I got a question. This is the $29,000 request. Is there any more backup for this? Because when I total the math, it comes out to just a little over 22,400.
I got 25 with the additional what I give, 25. And then the $29,000 was a 10% increase. And it also, what I didn't document in there was harnesses. Basically, our, how we hold our radios. We've got some ancient ones that they're leather material and they're deteriorated quite well. So we've added those into this, this purchase as well.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yes, sir. The next number 3, sorry, I'll set with
All right,
radios.
Chief, before you move on, so I should have mentioned last time, so the command car request was for $70,000, and town administrator's recommending it for $70,000 from free cash. The portable radio, that request was for $29,000. The town administrator's recommending that one also for $29,000 from free cash, so.
Yeah, right.
Since it's fire related and all that, they use the fire trucks go out all the time with the ambulance, why wouldn't we think about using the ambulance fund?
So ambulance fund has been identified as one of the funding sources on the capital budget already. If you remember, we met back in the spring for, it was an appropriation from ambulance funds to, within this kind of calendar year. So, it's one of those, you don't want to dip into that account too heavily. So it's just a matter of, with the funding sources available, not hitting the ambulance account every time for all their requests.
What's the balance of the ambulance fund these days?
As of
approximately?
today, it was $1,844,995.
And I think 2 ambulances are coming out of that probably,
Both of them, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
that's about $1 million, I'm gonna say.
I
Maybe not
have that.
50 each.
Probably about 4 and change. And they're due within, last I heard, by the end of September.
Oh, when are they due? Is that what the
We're
question is?
expected to receive them by the end of September.
The idea is about 800's coming out for those 2. Of the
Right.
1,800,000, that would leave us about $1 million, even though it generates about $1 million something a year, about.
About 1.4 million, that's the average.
Is that 800, that has already been taken out when we took the vote?
Yeah, so that's already been
Previously.
taken out
So that-
back
yeah.
in the
So it's
spring.
net, 1.8,
Right.
balance is 1,
It's the balance as of today, the market
and
value
that's
is
net of
today.
800 out for the
Correct.
2.
Right.
So I'll go back to why not use some of that money, because it's used for providing those type of services.
It's,
Because it's plugged, I guess, is it plugged into the operating budget,
it's what plugged into the
for
operating.
ambulance funds?
No.
No,
No.
it's for capital.
It's a revolving account, right. Not for capital only, but,
Oh, what else is it for?
I think there's some operational
So
expenses
so
with that,
it's
yeah.
used to support, I'll call it, the operations of the.
But I think typically, historically, the department has tried to maintain around like a $2 million reserve in that account, so, or between 1.5 and 2 million, we're at the 1.8 now. So
For the purpose of buying new equipment?
possibly for whatever emergencies may come up.
Okay. Thank you.
So, excuse me, Petra, a little bit follow-up. Do we use any of the ambulance fund for fire engines on the purchase of that?
Yes, so in the past 5 years, we bought an engine in 2018 for $375,000. Looking over my notes here, see if there was other engines. We've done the ambulance, the command cars, the ambulance, and other equipment from that account.
Okay.
Okay.
You all set? Is that, Paul, Chief?
Item number 3 would be $85,000 for turnout gear. This would be for new hires for the new command staff, and that would work out to be 14 complete sets.
And that's for the new hires, and how many would that be? Do we know, or
It's
6?
somewhat of a moving target. It could be up to 8. It depends on how the promotions work out.
Okay, 6 to 8, and then you said the other ones would be for the command staff? Is that,
New promotion command staff, that'd require some new turnout gear, some different turnout gear with their rank.
So the backup that's in here at $6,000, $5,933, multiply that by the number of people you're gonna buy for to get to the 80,000?
So that's how I got the
Yep.
85, yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Averaged out, yeah, just about $6,000.
yeah, that's what I did, I divided the 85
Yeah,
by
right,
that,
yeah.
by that number, okay.
Item number 4 would be $21,000. This would be for a pediatric ALS application that we'd be able to download onto our ambulance cell phones. We don't respond to too many pediatric calls, and this would provide up-to-date and current dosages and medications that they're required to give. Just be a tool that the ambulance crews would have right at their fingertips as needed. And also an addition of 11 AEDs is what I'm requesting that would be to outfit a lot of the apparatus that are missing AEDs. And the thought process is if fire apparatus responds to a call, should have an AED on that for life-saving measures.
Okay, so on the pediatric, now what is that, for the personal medications, or, I mean?
It's an it's not medication, it would be a dosage. It's basically a program that we would download onto the ambulance cell phones, and they'd be able to enter vital information on the patient, and it would kick back immediately, correct dosage to apply to that patient,
Okay.
what medication to apply for that patient. Item number 5 would be SOG or SOP updating. A lot of our SOPs are very antiquated. This would provide a service that would come in and go through all of our SOPs, review each one, work with us to determine our local needs, as well as take care of any legal needs that we need to document and have spelled out. This is a program used by mutual aid communities as well, so it's been vetted by other communities, and it's a tested system, and it's worked out well for those communities also. So I'd like to update our system to a needed breath of fresh air.
I think I need a little more definition on that.
Sure, all of our SOPs some of them were written, some are still pertinent, but some were written back in the 90s. It's just a very time-consuming process. There's a lot of changes in the world since those SOPs have been written. A lot of requirements, legal requirements that we need to update. This company has a lot of the programs already set for Massachusetts, multiple communities throughout, so all of the Massachusetts laws are incorporated into this system. And again, it's not just a one-all that fits everybody. We need to get in and say, this is how we respond to a situation, so we'd work specifically with the vendor and their representative, and it would help specifically spell out SOP 1 for this situation, SOP 2 for another situation, and then make it very tailored to Walpole. But again, cover our legal requirements, let our individuals know, our firefighters know exactly what's expected of them, and protect them as well. It's a lot of money, but I think it's a well worth resource that we need to have.
So in the packet, it's, there's a distinction between year 1 and year 2.
Yes, sir.
And if you go, this is just to get the year 1
This would just be get the
implemented?
year 1. It also includes training, daily and monthly training.
Yep.
I'd like to get into the year 1. This would just, the year 1 packet would update all the SOPs and get us to a process where we could probably manage going forward. But I think year 1 would definitely be the priority right now. I'm not asking for year 2. It was just included in the
Sure.
quote.
Okay, so if this is a good program, which it looks like it should be, and if it's well worth your time and it helps the town, should we track the year 2 for following year's budget for the 5-year?
I did not incorporate that, but I wanted to see how the training
Sure.
program went before I went and asked for it, and
Okay,
see how our usage would apply with that.
okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Excuse me one second, Patrick, how would I know if Leah or if Justin,
They'll be able to speak up, but I'm also monitoring in case they raise their hands or anything too, so. Justin, Leah, are you all set? You good?
Yeah.
Leah's giving a thumbs up too.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, we're here.
So, number 6, which I believe I'm requesting, but it was not supported by the town administrator, is replace one of the older engines, either the 1999 or the 2007, the 2009 rather. The 1999 is engine 5, has 79,000 miles on it, and the 2009 has 106,000 miles on it. We've had multiple problems with that apparatus. We just spent approximately $70,000 within the past 2 years of updating it and getting it roadworthy. Those are the only 2 engines right now that fit out of Station 2. So we're kind of limited with what we can put down there. If one of those trucks goes down, which has gone down, they have both gone down at the same time, we've had to leave our apparatus either outside, or if the weather's inclement, we have to bring the group back up here and separate the duty group down there. The pricing has changed dramatically from the 2 engines that are coming in. I think if you see in the documentation that I provided, this is just systemic about the fire apparatus throughout, from what I'm understanding and the information that I'm receiving. One engine that we're receiving was $640,000. The other engine was $680,000, and that included a little more equipment than the first engine. The quote that I received, again, the best guess estimate was $1.1 million for the exact same engine that we're receiving at the end of this month. Part of the problem is the Cummins, the diesel engine, is coming out with a brand new engine that they don't know how to price just yet for the fire apparatus. So it's really a moving target, is what the dealer has advised us on this problem. We went from about a 2-year build-out on our engines. They're suggesting a 2.5-year build-out on their engines now. So it's just something to keep on the radar, that while we're getting 2 brand-new engines, if we order one today or after fall town meeting, it would be at least 2.5 years before we get a new engine for that, possibly even lengthier time frame. So something that I just wanted to mention out and keep aware of. That probably, if not funded, which understandably so, I'll be asking again next year for it, so.
All right.
Why wouldn't the town administrator support it at this point? If it's 2 years out, do we pay for it when it's delivered or when you order it?
It would be paid for when it's ordered, when we receive it, actually, that's when we give them the check. I spoke to the town administrator about that, and we want to look into other vendors This was, like I said, went to the same one. We try to keep consistency within our fleet. It just makes a life safer and much more user-friendly for the firefighters. The decision, thought process was to take the time and go find another vendor and price out. After I had that discussion with him, we did hear from another chief, and they were told $200,000 more than what I was quoted, than what I'm requesting. So the prices are up there for the fire apparatus. But we'll do our due diligence over the year if it's not recommended and voted on, and we'll try to come back with, obviously, the best cost benefit we can get out of this.
Are the other vendors 2.5 years out also?
I believe so. It's just a systemic problem out with the fire apparatus.
So if we looked into Minuteman at all, I know it wasn't a favorable brand in the past, I think, but,
I've not personally reached out to them, but I have heard of pricing from that apparatus,
Okay.
from that manufacturer, so.
okay.
And the next one would be, the Station 2 relocation study, something that we've been looking for a while. Station 2 is an antiquated building that we just keep putting money into. If you look at it, the right door now is squared as opposed to the arch that we had, and the left door is arched. I believe capital budget from building maintenance is looking to square that up. But building maintenance has just done a great job trying to keep up with it, but it's just an older building. It's very tight. It wasn't built for what we use it for now. So I requested a study, and that money was presented, that cost figure was presented by communication with the project manager that handled a lot of projects within town. So we estimated that to be a good price to request, and the town administrator is not recommending this one as well. I think we know Station 2 is needed, but to do the study is
So was that under a different article?
Yeah, it's under the first article, under the infrastructure improvements. And I believe Larry has a question.
Station
Okay.
2, for clarity, that's
I'm
East
s-
Wolf?
East Walpole, correct, on Washington Street, East Walpole.
I know it was dormant for a while, and then we put hundreds, if not a couple million into that to bring it up to snuff. And that's not enough to make it functional anymore. And you mentioned relocate, would you put it in another spot?
So we had looked at other alternatives to place it. It's getting off to, it works going north and south and out to Route 1 and Route 95. It's a great location, but coming across town to North Walpole or anything getting over to 1A, it's either coming, the roadways over that are pretty limited. We did do a thought process of finding town-owned property on that side of Washington Street. That's why the request for the relocation study, to find out the best needed spot. Part of the request was to find out the best needed spot, what's recommended. It was reopened during COVID to keep our group separate, and it's worked out pretty well. We've had a fire right across the street. They were on scene immediately. Had they not been on scene immediately, I think we would have had a much different outcome from what happened at that time frame. It's our most dense population. It's populated. We are busy down in that area, so there's definitely a need for the second station down there. But it's just the continuous maintenance of issues. We've had roof leaks, water leaks. It's just a continuing battle to keep it clean, safe, and functional for the firefighters working down there.
I noticed the relocation request from last year to this year is doubled,
So
50 to 500.
So I did exactly. I apologize, I'm not sure whether where Chief Bailey came up with where we came up with the 250 last time. But again, going through the research, it was, the 500,000 was what recommended to us by a industry professional.
So would that study include plans and stuff like that? Is it, how involved would that be?
So I think at this stage, right, with any building project, you kind of start off at a feasibility level. Usually all in design costs are about 10% of what the construction costs are. So I guess it depends on what the solution would be that would come out of a study like this. You know, I think without, you know, a more defined scope, I'm sure there, you could probably get into the various levels of design, probably not to the point of, you know, construction-ready documents, but I'm sure you could probably get, you know, into early phases of design with a number like that, so. But as the chief mentioned, it, we're not, town administrator's not recommending this at this particular time.
Okay. Any other questions? All good?
Any final questions for Chief Barry?
The funding sources, the turnout gear is funded by the ambulance fund?
Yeah.
Correct,
Okay,
yeah,
but everything else is free cash.
free cash, right,
It's sitting on 1 point,
1.8 billion.
okay, thank you.
All set?
Yep.
Leah, Justin, you guys all set? Thank you.
2 thumbs up, all right. All right, thanks,
All
Chief
right.
Barry.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Congratulations, too.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, next up, we have the police department here tonight, our Chief Kelleher and Chief Kilroy, Deputy Chief Kilroy, excuse me. Thought you were gonna give that a third one.
They probably don't want to hear me.
All right, guys.
Good evening.
Good evening, thank you.
So you can start. Nice report. I like your introduction there. Pretty thorough, so it doesn't leave us with a lot of questions, I think. So
I'm glad to hear
so
it.
you can go.
So our first request is for a new unmarked police vehicle. We're looking to replace a 2015 Ford Taurus sedan that is currently assigned to our Detectives Division. We'll be looking to replace this with a new Ford SUV. The Cruiser that's being replaced is currently 9 years old, has over 60,000 miles on it. It's also a sedan-style vehicle, which is not really suitable or really effective for what the job has become these days. There's not a lot of room for storage in regard to investigative equipment or the gear that these gentlemen need to carry with them to do their jobs on a daily basis. Also, the Cruiser is currently now out of warranty and beginning to require more frequent and expensive maintenance and repairs. I was recently notified that this vehicle is actually in need of some rather expensive repairs that they're holding off on until we determine whether or not it's going to be replaced.
So this is for detectives' use, right? I think you said, or,
The vehicle being replaced is in Detectives, however, the new one will become a administrative car, and we're gonna do some internal shuffling so that one of the older vehicles gets pushed down the line to the Detectives. So they'll receive one of the older SUVs, but the new SUV will become one of the daily drivers that's on call 24 hours a day.
okay. Questions, Larry?
Who maintains them now? Is it at the the mechanic up at the DPW, or you?
No, most of the police cruisers are maintained internally at the police department. Right, or- Tom,
Yeah, Tom over the fleet maintenance maintains all of our
Fleet ma-
vehicles,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Or if they go to the dealership for warranty work if need be, yeah.
And I look at it, it's got 60,000 miles, you've had it for 9 years or 8 years, at about
Approximately, yes.
500 miles a year, is that normal use?
Depending on the assignment, The detectives' cars aren't driven as often as a regular marked patrol vehicle, obviously. They are still in the field pretty much 24/7 through all the elements and the weather and whatnot. So while they may not have as many miles, they are definitely experiencing the same type of environment.
Okay, thank you.
So this would be like a pool vehicle of the command staff, is that? Just get it straight?
Depending on the needs, the new one will probably be reassigned to the deputy chief, and the deputy chief's vehicle, which has, I believe, 45,000 miles on it now, will be pushed down to the detectives. So the new vehicle will be on call, like I said, 24/7, and become a daily driver.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions, any more questions on the cruiser?
Our next request is to replace one of our current police motorcycles. We're looking to replace a 2019 Harley-David motorcycle with a 2023. The motorcycle unit, obviously, if you've been around town, is one of our most visible units. It's used for a variety of things, very versatile. It's used for traffic enforcement, escorts, community engagement, et cetera. The motorcycle we're looking to replace is currently 4 years old and has 22,000 miles on it. It is also currently out of warranty and beginning, like the Cruiser, to begin to require more expensive and frequent maintenance and repairs. And one of the key reasons we're moving on this right now is that the current trade-in value will be able to recover approximately 50% of the price of the new motorcycle by trading in this vehicle at this time.
So does the 16,000
The 16,000 is all-inclusive. That includes the
trade-in?
the
So is
trade-in,
that-
yes.
the motorcycles are 32,000 and then
The
roughly, and then,
The quote I have on the new motorcycle, I believe, is 22,000, and we're gonna receive, I believe, 10,500 for the trade. And then there's some additional cost for lighting and ancillary equipment, but that's all inclusive in the 16,000.
okay, any other questions? Good, on the motorcycle?
Okay, thank you. And then my final request tonight is a request to continue our information technology infrastructure project. Last year, we had year one. This is year two of our maintenance and replacement plan. The infrastructure within the department, the computers and the servers are now a little more than 8 years old. Since the time of purchase, they're beginning to fail and have significant performance issues, including our data storage is on the verge of being full. So we're requesting, I believe, 14,000 to continue this project and with, I believe, a 7-year goal of replacing the entire system.
So what would this actually include? We getting like hardware?
Yes, this would all be for hardware, desktop computers, and I believe a new data storage server.
Okay.
Any thought of going to the cloud, or is that, and I'm no IT expert, but I just hear everybody saying, go to the
No,
cloud.
I believe it's the security issues and stuff like that, where we, given the amount of, the type of data we handle, keeping it internal with our contractors is preferable at this point.
Makes sense, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Load that up, right? You good? Guys good?
Yep, we're getting thumbs up and
Yeah,
head nods.
That's good. All right, so,
That's it, tonight one.
boy, that's
you.
nice. All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
All right.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Oh, do we have to take a roll
Aye.
call?
Yeah, actually, yeah,
Uh,
you do for the minutes.
David? Mike? Larry?
Yes.
Justin?
Aye.
Leah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Unanimous. Okay, thank you all. See you tomorrow
What,
night.
Sorry, just one quick question. Which groups are coming next for the next meeting?
Tomorrow's general government department, so that'll be,
Community economic development, recreation, conservation, and trails.
yeah, actually, and one point about Trails, Trails is unable to make it tomorrow night, so they're gonna come, next Wednesday instead, so. But, yeah, that's the plan for tomorrow night, Justin. Sorry, you're on
Sounds
mute.
good, thanks.
Okay, great. All
Okay,
right, thanks, everybody.
thank you. Good
You
night.
guys tomorrow?
Thank you.